Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. We are back with another episode. This episode 152. Joined with Will Snowball, Connor Carson, Nick Wynn on the call. How we doing?
Yes, sir.
Living the life, man.
Living the life. Poverty. Living the life.
Another week of football in the books. But we can start out with Thursday night. Commanders and Eagles. I feel like the Eagles are being a little bit slept on, in my opinion, over the past couple of weeks. I feel like nobody wants to put them in the same conversation as the Lions, even though they've been taking care of business.
Or one of my hot takes was that they'd get the 1 seed and win out, but like the Lions won't lose, so that might not happen. But I did say the Eagles were going to be doing very good. I think a lot of people wrote the Eagles off. But now
I did.
And
I was one of those
and they didn't write back. Jalen Hurts didn't write back.
They just looked so bad.
Let me look up the Eagles' schedule for the rest of the go.
I mean, I just think this is right where they want to be. I mean, I always felt like I went into last Thursday's game thinking this is kind of the game that's going to tell me who's going to take reins of the division.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Eagles are just going to win. I think they showed clearly they're just a better, more explosive football team. At this point in time, they just have more talent. Yeah. And I feel like the Washington Commanders have kind of, when you're looking at them, I'm not saying they're overhyped, but I think they're coming down to earth. You got to think they were a Hail Mary win away from having this be their third straight loss. So they would have went and lost to the Bears, lost to the Steelers, and now lost to the Eagles. But since they have the Hail Mary, they've only dropped 2 instead of 3 straight games. So looking at that, I mean, I feel like if they didn't get that Hail Mary and they didn't set the world on fire with that play, I think they would have been looking at them completely different.
It's just very odd watching the Commanders play against like a good. What are they 0-4 against above 500 teams now?
Yeah, they're not doing well
against
something. Actually.
And I think it has to do with Jaden Daniels, because he looks so much worse like against like competent defenses, and like he already doesn't pass the ball well like throughout the game, but like now he like actually doesn't pass the ball at all. Like Terry McLaurin didn't have a target or a reception for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
And if not,
against an Eagles defense that isn't like world breaking.
Yeah. So like that's why I said.
I don't know. They've been recently
they've been good.
They've been top 10. That defense has been very good.
He's just scaring me against these better teams. I feel like teams are starting to kind of figure him out. Like good DCs are gonna figure it out. Like, oh yeah, we've had to deal with like mobile quarterback before. Like this isn't like anything new.
I said this at the beginning of the year. It's like week 4. I was like, he's new.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was hooping.
Like playing the Eagles, who are on a hot streak. I mean, the Eagles have won, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row now.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Starting with the Browns, then it was the Giants, then it was the Bengals, then it was the Jags, then it was the Cowboys, and now the Eagles.
Bunch of shitters.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a bunch of shitters.
I mean, they're taking care of business. I mean, that's what they should do.
They're just taking care of business. Like they should win next Sunday night against the Rams. That should be a game that they easily win, but it'll be close because it's going to be in LA and it's a primetime game. So I still think they can win. I mean, you got the Rams, then you're going, what is this? Then you're playing the Ravens in Baltimore, which will be tough. Then you got the Panthers. Then you're back into the rest of the go is division games. You play the rest of your division games. So
I think you're going to be right. I think they will end up securing the 1 seed because I think those division games the Lions are going to have to play are going to be a lot tougher than what the Eagles are going to have to play. I mean, the Eagles, they could beat the Commanders twice. They're going to trash Dallas, and then they're going to beat the Giants. So, like, those division games for the Eagles compared to the Lions, I mean, like, all those teams for the Lions are going to play them tough. The Bears still got to play them 2 times. They always play them tough. The Vikings they had a shootout in the first game they played. Green Bay, they trashed, but I think Green Bay is going to play them tougher the next time. Like, they just have tougher division games, and with how backloaded the division games are in the North, I think they could be prone to drop a couple compared to the Eagles, who I think could damn near win every game in the division this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think with how the Eagles are kind of starting to put things together, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which is where it seemed to be to start the year. I mean, they were really kind of struggling. We knew this offense would be fine. I mean, it's always going to be one of the best rushing offenses in the league. You add Saquon to that, I mean, it just gets better. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, top targets, top duo in the league, one of them. And now that their defense is starting to come together, I mean, I just don't see if they can keep this up and stay this consistent. I can 100% see them taking the top seed because I've also seen now Jared Goff look bad. I mean, he just threw a 5 fucking interception game. So he's very good protected. He's starting to kind of take away from that narrative this year where he was good under pressure. That game against who was it? The Texans or who did he throw 5? Yeah,
Texans.
Where he's getting no fucking time in the pocket, threw 5 picks. They still won, which is fucking crazy, but I think teams are going to start sending that shit at Goff and see if he can handle it. Start making it work. And I mean, this Packers defense has shown they're good. The Bears defense has a good pass rush. Are you guys hurt though? Aren't you guys really beat up on the defensive line?
Our DBs are.
Your DBs are hurt. Okay, so I mean, your pass rush should be able to get there hopefully. And I mean, the Vikings are fucking obviously pretty defensively sound with Flores. So I think the road for the Lions is definitely tougher.
They're also a team that I remember like talking to my dad before the game came on. I was like, the Lions are a team that when they're playing from ahead, they're almost impossible to beat because of how good they run the ball. But we saw against the Texans when the Texans jumped out to that early lead, when you're kind of Jared Goff is, forced to throw the ball over 24 times a game. Like when he's forced to bring the team back, you can't just hand it off to Gibbs or Montgomery every single time you drop back. Like he kind of did struggle when the Texans jumped out to that league, and then the Jacksonville games, like whatever, Jacksonville's property this year. But I'm really interested to see like how they do and how they're able, because they haven't been able to really play from behind. The only 2 games I remember is the Texans and the Vikings one. Both ended really close games, especially the Vikings one. But like, I need to see more of them playing a little bit from behind because they're not going to be up in every game. I mean, you can see in the playoffs like kind of what happened to Dallas last year. Jumped out, got down quick, and was not able to recover from it. I'm not saying the Cowboys and the Lions are the same team, but you have a quarterback who I feel like is similar to Dak Prescott, to where if you make him the priority and he has to win the game for you and he has to throw the ball a certain amount of times, it can come back to bite you.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race for that number 1 seed.
I think the Eagles for sure would want it more than Detroit. Maybe Detroit. I don't know. Detroit plays very well at home. Maybe Detroit would kind of need that more, especially, and then you get the bye. But I feel like it's going to be a gauntlet in the NFC this year. I think all those teams could make an argument for them being able to make a run.
Mm-hmm.
But we can get on to one of Connor's big Bo Nix guy, and Connor. Has Bo Nix kind of thrown his name at the top of the Offensive Player of the Year for rookies?
I think he's going to win it.
You think so?
The name isn't in there. I think he's going to win it. I think the only way he doesn't win it is if the Commanders actually do sneak into the playoffs and like they maybe win a playoff game. Like maybe they just give it to Jaden Daniels. But it's also hard for Bo Nix, who's in a division with the Chiefs and the Chargers, technically, because the Chargers are 7-3. And now, what are the Broncos? 6-5?
Like 6-5, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I think if he can keep it up, he's definitely gonna get it, because he's definitely gonna have better stats than Jaden Daniels, I think, by the end of the season, with less weapons. So I don't know. I think he's gonna do. I think it should be Bo Nix.
I agree. I also throw a little bit of credit to somebody like Brock Bowers because of that entire situation with Vegas is so bad. And then you just have Brock Bowers having an elite tight end year. Like
he's open. He is fucking gross.
Like as a rookie, like having that elite of production on that bad of a team, like that shouldn't go unnoticed as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, is there anybody else?
He's putting up receiver numbers as I was looking at his receptions that he's had, like career receptions or whatever it is, as a rookie in the year to first whatever games, and he's up in there with talks with like fucking OBJ and shit like that, like motherfuckers that are elite receivers, not tight ends. And I mean, we knew Brock was coming out almost as a tight end, kind of like a Kyle Pitts kind of build, but I mean, it's not like he's lining up in the slot. He's on the line. Like when I've been the Raiders games I've watched, because for some reason it's on. I mean, he's in positions where you're like, you'd see blocking possibilities, or you'd see fucking screens or flare outs. So it's not like he's lining up, like, because Kyle Pitts gets used a lot, I feel like, in that third receiver slot for the Falcons when he's used. And so it's just crazy to see what he's kind of doing. I think it's interesting for this Bo Nix narrative because I don't know, the Rookie of the Year race is such an interesting award to me. So Bo Nix lately has been hooping, but to start the year, Jaden Daniels was putting up like record statistics for completion percentage. He was, putting up multiple touchdown games, kind of like what Bo Nix is starting to do now in the pass game. And it was through the first half of the year. And now Bo Nix has had 4 or 5 really, really good solid weeks. And then this week was a breakout week. So, if he can keep it up, I think he will overtake Jaden Daniels. But I don't think it should be a gimme for Bo right now, unless he can kind of start putting up some really big numbers. Because Jaden really was hooping to start the year. Like, Jaden was doing some shit I was like, all right.
Some
fine.
nasty things.
I kind of agree with Connor. It might go to Daniels, though, because of the better chance to make the playoffs. But, you gotta think, like I said earlier, the Commanders could be on a 3-game losing streak right now if that Hail Mary doesn't happen. But, looking at this, I almost want to say the Broncos could have a better chance of making the playoffs in the AFC compared to the Commanders. The Commanders could have 2 more bad weeks and then they could really be out of the race. That's how close it is. You're looking at the NFC, if you're not damn near an 11-win team, you're not making it with how good the North is. And you got to think you have the Niners and Cardinals and Rams and Seahawks are all in the same realm right now. It is really in the NFC takes 2 bad weeks to put you out of playoff contention down the stretch now.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the Broncos, who I feel like if they can kind of keep on stretching together some wins, depending on how the Chargers end up, they could slip in. Maybe. Who knows
they're
what can
basically going to be
happen?
competing with Miami and those teams.
The way they've been
mess
playing,
around
they
and get the
can.
last spot.
Indianapolis, it's going to be much easier for Denver to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
in the AFC, because that last playoff spot in the AFC, I only think it's going to take 9-10 wins.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think a team like Miami could still have a life because of the other divisions being so bad. But kind of going into that game, are we starting to get worried a little bit about the Falcons?
I don't know what.
to get walloped like that.
Yes, I think. Yes, you
their
need to be worried about
Swiss
them.
cheese.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that defense.
6 points or whatever they scored.
Not good.
Because I've kind of
not serious.
Because I have kind of a take basically about that just division in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to miss the playoffs.
You think the Bucs do it?
Here, I'm gonna name off the remaining Buccaneers schedule, and I'm gonna talk about the weeks
you
before.
Think the Saints are gonna do it? You're insane.
No. So looking at the last 3 games for the Bucs, close one against the Falcons, 1-possession game. Close one against the Chiefs, 1-possession game. Close one against the Niners, 1-possession game. They're getting Mike Evans back this weekend. The remaining games are the Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints. I see one possible loss on that schedule.
They're going to lose the Chargers, and that's it. My God.
They could go 6-1 over that stretch. They could legit go 6-1 over that stretch and win the division. So I think the Bucs are legit going to run the table and win the division and make the playoffs. And I think the Falcons are going to miss it this year.
Yeah.
They're just too shaky of a team.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen from the Bucs against good teams, they're in games. Their defense is really good. Their defense is physical, can keep them in games. The only reason they haven't won a lot of those close games is because Godwin and Evans have both been hurt. If you have one of the two, I think they maybe win that game against Kansas City. And maybe win that game against the Falcons, who they've already had 2 shootouts with this year.
Yeah.
Looking at the Falcons' schedule, the remaining, I think the max they probably get is 10 wins at this point, because that's 4 more wins. Because you got the Chargers at home, which I think with Atlanta being at home, I think that game can go either way. Then you're in Minnesota. You're probably going to lose that game.
They're also coming off a bye in that Chargers one because they have a bye this week.
Yep, that's why I'm saying it could go either way. In Minnesota, you're probably going to lose that. Then you're in Las Vegas. You should win that, but for some reason it's a primetime game. It's a Monday night game. and
That could
then
get
you're back
flexed.
against the Giants, and then Commanders to finish it out, or Commanders and then the Panthers to finish it out. So you're maybe
That Commanders
sniffing
game's going
10
to be
wins there.
huge.
That's why you're maybe sniffing 10 wins. If you can get 11, this is when they need to go. Like, you dropped a couple now you need to like almost win like 4 out of these next 6 games to basically lock yourself in for the playoffs. Yeah, and you talking about the Bucks. The Bucks thing is going to be super super interesting with them sitting at 4-6 now and basically taking on Tommy DeVito and the Giants next, like, 2 weeks from now. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Then
No, they're playing this Sunday.
Or were they just on? Oh yeah, they were just on
a bye,
Oh,
and
they
they're
are
getting
playing.
Evans back now.
Yeah.
Post a bye.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I hope these games. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe they'll drop one stupid game. That's usually how it goes. Like, randomly, the Cowboys will play them hard or something.
Yeah.
Like, or the Raiders will play them hard. That's just how it is.
Yep. When we get to see Trey Lance QB1, that's when they lose.
It might just come down to them head to head with how close it could be towards the end, because the Falcons won both times this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it could come down to something like that at the end. Getting into next, Anthony Richardson's back in the fold.
Hey, he's back. He's back.
Big win
man.
over the Jets. Big, confident, game-winning drive over the Jets. I mean, I thought the benching him narrative was just dumb to begin with.
Oh, it was terrible.
Because then
I don't know why you can take someone like that and just put in like another person like Joe Flacco. That makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, we've already talked about it, but like, it was just dumb.
I'm just glad to see him make that game-winning drive and kind of get back confidence. I think that was something that you worry about the most, because in sports, I mean, confidence can be the main driving factor, and you're benching somebody that young who is that inexperienced. Confidence can really be shaken at that point, but that drive, I think, is going to really bolster him and possibly this team for the rest of the year. They are very unfortunate that the Texans are kind of like hovering, because the Texans haven't looked good in that division. But with that Colts win, the Colts are kind of right back on their tails in terms of the division. I think they're like 1 game behind now, but like, I still think the Texans are going to win the division. But I mean, they're in the hunt, but I never thought that Flacco could take them there like Anthony Richardson could.
No. It's interesting to me because they were doing the whole benching him thing, and teams are so fucking, whatever it is with like media and everything, they just don't want to give away things. It makes me wonder, because they were so quick to just be like, because they benched him. They were like, Joe Flacco's the starter going forward. And then the next week they were like, actually, let's put AR back out there. So it makes me wonder if it was a coaching decision and it wasn't actually a performance issue. It was understand you're the leader of this team. Like, we're going to say that we're benching you just because, but like, it was disciplinary because he was tired. Like, I wonder if it was almost like the coach being like, grow the fuck up. Like, get out there. Like, you're going to take time off now because of that. I don't know. It was just weird what they did. Like, and I mean, they genuinely could have thought Joe Flacco was the way to go forward. But the way that they turned around so fast to just be like, actually, AR is going to be the starter now, after being like, Joe Flacco's the starter for the rest of the year. That's stupid. That made no sense. That was weird.
Well, they threw Flacco to the Wolves against the top 5 defense on prime time on Sunday night against the Vikings. So, like, I knew going into that and what the Vikings defense brings to the table. You're having an immobile quarterback who can't make plays with his legs. I just knew what was going to happen to Flacco, and them just switching the tables, like you said, could have been like a disciplinary thing on the DL, because of what he said in his comments to the media. But I don't know. I just think it's going to be him for the rest of the year if he stays healthy.
It should be.
As it should be.
And then we got another benching with Daniel Jones.
Finally.
Now I called this just a few weeks too early with the injury.
I was gonna say this is the injury. This is the injury clause in his contract. 100%.
I was actually thinking, like, soon as I saw it, I think it was like this morning, I thought about when we were talking about the injury shit a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not Drew Lock. It's actually
because he moved on
DeVito.
to third string.
Yep.
I mean, is this like it for Daniel Jones?
No, they just don't want to pay. They just don't want to pay that $24 million.
But like after
there's
this
going to be like 5 to 10 teams that are going to need a bridge quarterback or a maybe quarterback, and Daniel Jones is one of those maybe quarterbacks.
He's like Sam Darnold for the Vikings this year,
where he'll get like a fucking $25 million for 3 or maybe 1 year. I don't know. It's like the Jets or something when Aaron Rodgers retires.
What does he have left on his deal? He signed it. Was it only a 3-year? Or
I think he has like a year left.
Okay.
But I think they can get out of it after this year when we were looking at.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
Oh my God, LaMelo. Sorry.
I mean, I'm just kind of looking towards like what's the future looking like? What is it?
He's still got 3 years left.
Oh, so they're fucked.
They're fucked.
This year plus 2 years, but like this is the year that they had the potential out, so like it takes off a little bit more money.
Wait, so how does that work then? How is that structured? Like, or are they just gonna eat the cap?
They could just eat it.
It's just a $22 million dead cap hit.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not as bad as Russ.
Not bad
because this is a built-in. They built in this potential out.
Okay, so they knew they were scheming for him to be shit.
Yeah,
like that 20 mil. I mean, that's nothing. They could work
really
around.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Especially when you're talking about quarterback money and some of the other dead caps around the league. I think you're sitting real pretty with this one. But I mean, I'm more so looking at this Giants team that I do think has talent on it. Especially you have Neighbors. I think your defense is super talented. It just needs to have more help from his offense. Tyron Tracy's been really good. Like, do you go the route? So you think they draft somebody this
have to
upcoming draft?
Yeah, you have to.
They're probably going to take
depending on where they
fall.
You're going to get one of them. You have to. You have no.
Cam Ward, Shadur, they're going to take one of those.
There's going to be a lot of guys available, I think.
Okay. Is Shadur the favorite that you would like to see him with Neighbors?
It's either him or Cam Ward for sure.
Oh, him and Neighbors would be fire.
Because I know Shadur has been like doing this. I don't know if you guys have peeped this thing about him. Every time the Raiders lose, he tweets like "I love God" or something. It's every time the swear to God.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. It's every time the Raiders lose, he tweets "I love God."
It's because there's rumors that Dion's supposed to follow him.
Yeah, so like maybe Antonio Pierce might get the boot after this year.
Oh God!
They come as a package.
Dion and Shadur with Vegas would be insane amount of aura.
But it would be.
Look, I have the NFL draft order according to today on my phone right now. It would be Jacksonville at 1, Tennessee at 2, Cleveland at 3, and the Giants at 4, and then Vegas at 5.
So,
but how was that?
How many of those teams need a
9.
quarterback? Is the real question.
Not Jacksonville. Tennessee's arguable.
Tennessee's
Browns. I think they're willing to go with.
I could see them not going quarterback.
Maybe
they go like receiver or something on the defense.
Yeah. Cleveland. Yes.
Cleveland. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think you can do it yet.
Well, now you're thinking of Deshaun coming off an Achilles. I'm not saying he's not going to play, but what's his timetable look like anyways?
No idea.
Like you're talking about probably middle of next year, fully ready to go.
Oh, it might be worse than that.
Yeah, like it. I mean,
unless he gets that Rodgers treatment, but Rodgers even looks slow. So, I mean, but Jameis has been good. Like if Jameis can finish the year strong, I don't think they're going to take a young quarterback.
I think you do.
Jameis Winston is starting for the Browns next season. Someone deserves to be fired. Someone should be fired, dude.
No, he's finna start. Watch.
No,
he finna start.
Jameis Winston is not a starting quarterback in this league.
He finishes the year strong. He finna start.
If they were like, obviously they weren't. They wouldn't.
Or it's gonna be DTR. Fuck.
If Deshaun Watson were to get cut before next year,
is that what you were laughing at? I didn't know what you were laughing at.
There would be a dead cap hit of $172 million.
Oh my God.
That's possible. That's possible.
Oh my God. That's it though.
I don't even know how. I thought it was just thousands. I was like, why don't they do it? No, there's like 9 zeros there.
Dude.
So I actually did see something from Nick Wright of how they could windle their way out of this situation. So the premise would be they trade Deshaun Watson plus their first round pick this year to be able to then have the other team cut Deshaun Watson, and they're going to take like half of that cut or like a certain amount of that cut with the trade. So they can get out of it, but they would have to sacrifice the first round pick, which I don't think is the worst idea in the world.
See, the crazy
to
thing
get
is,
him off your roster.
I don't know what team is going to take him on, though.
So hear me out.
Yeah.
Pause.
Hear me out. So if you're the Panthers and they're attaching Deshaun Watson plus a first round pick for a team that already lost a bunch of draft capital to the Bears, you're telling me you're not doing that? To get basically 2 top 5 picks in this year's draft.
Panthers, man.
That would be the team that would be able to do it.
I don't hate it.
The Panthers get 2 top 5, top 10 picks in this year's draft, and they would just still have Bryce Young, and then you just have Deshaun Watson there. Basically, then you cut Deshaun Watson. And then you're basically getting the Browns are getting out of cap hell. Panthers are getting another first, but they're taking the cap hit a little bit, but you're gaining a first round pick in return. But I don't know how the splits would go with the cap. I just know that idea was brought up and I heard it and I thought it was very interesting.
172 million.
Because I think depending on the split, I think the Panthers would do something like that to get 2 first round picks in this loaded draft.
God, dude.
So do you just go for like 2 first round picks and then run with Deshaun Watson for the season?
No, I think they'd cut him.
No, you would be able to cut him.
They would be young.
But what's stopping him from just starting there? There's nobody there. You might as well just use him.
This would basically be just money exchanging hands.
QB competition.
I was going to say QB competition
like, and training camp.
Even then, I mean, you're the Panthers. You're adding 2 top 10 talents on a team that lacks talent.
You've benched Bryce Young like twice now. Like, you obviously know he's not the go, but like, why are we not?
It's like,
you have Deshaun Watson. Like, why doesn't he just start?
In this fantasy, though, the Cleveland Browns, like, why would they do that? Though? Like, if they're doing that because they think they can contend now. Like, they're going to they'd make big moves.
So for them, it would be getting off of Deshaun Watson for one. Yeah. It would be the trade would be basically to free up money more so long term and avoiding that dead cap hit is kind of the reasoning I got behind it. It's where this would make this more flexible, I guess.
Here's the thing: right now, there's only 2 years left on the contract.
Right.
He's there for the rest of the year. Like that's just so this year is no more. Like he has 2 years left.
After this year,
I don't see why, unless they would be going all in. Like if they know that there's a big money target they could get, because obviously they're losing that first round pick that you're talking about.
Right.
So like, if this scenario would happen, that means that the Browns are obviously making big moves, which I just don't see.
But they already started dumping their team away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think their roster is in a spot where they would do anything like that.
I just remember Nick Wright bringing it up like a month or two ago when he first got hurt, and this would be like a way for them to swindle out of saving money and shit like that. But back to the Giants at 4, like you gotta think they're probably gonna finish better than the Panthers, who have 8. Like they're gonna be in the mix from like anywhere between like 4 and like 8-ish. I see a lot of situations where like teams are trading up to take Shedeur, depending on how that entire situation unfolds. So it's gonna be very interesting. But I did have a little bit of a take because I think it's a Giants ass thing to do. Is like they would like be the type of team to like go out and get Fields on like a small bag and then not draft a quarterback.
My king, no. He's not leaving. He could.
Like if they miss out on Cam Ward and Shedeur, like
I mean they're gonna be bad enough. There's no way, right?
Right.
They're bad enough. There's no way they miss out.
You got Milrow, who's not even like guaranteed to be there, and then like Ewers, like maybe.
Oh God, Ewers.
That's me. Who else? I'm trying to think of some other college quarterback. Is Jackson Dart going?
Yeah, Jackson Dart's a senior, but I don't even think he's projected first round right now.
Oh, probably not.
Let's think. Top. I'm trying to think of the top. Is the BYU kid a fucking?
Oh, Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, Gabriel. He's just short.
Yeah.
So they would
So,
be in the
like-
mix for some type of quarterback play, anyways.
Mhm.
But if they're out of like the Shedeur and Cam Ward race, I think it does get a little bit interesting.
They can take Russ on a vet man again. Because we're gonna re-sign Fields. So
I don't like Russ take y'all to the divisional. Like then it's a different count. Like
we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Next one is really a question for Connor. I mean, he wasn't been absent. Are y'all cursed? Like, is this like a Bears thing? Like the Hail Mary loss? I mean, whatever. That's in the past. Blocked field goal against the Packers, who you only beat since like 2018.
Hey,
Pre-pandemic.
ain't shit new, man. This is
like what was your facial reaction? What was your facial reaction when, like, they before the field goal and after the field goal?
This gonna make me sound like a fake fan. I was asleep, so I didn't watch the game. I was back from Ames and I went to bed. I watched like the first couple drives and I was like, I saw when the Packers scored right away and I was like, all right, we're cooked. Right there, I was like, okay, the game's over, and then I went to sleep. So then I woke up and I saw that we missed the field goal and I screamed in my pillow very loud because that was the way that we lost. Like, that's just so stupid. That's two dumb ways that we've lost now. But, you know,
The offense looked a lot better.
You know, he can just jump over our long snapper because, you know, it's not a fucking flag anymore, isn't it? You know, whatever. The refs just don't care about it, I guess.
It's crazy because I had a parlay, Green Bay money line. I'm watching it live. Has it happened? I'm sitting here. I'm like, damn near everything cashed. I'm waiting on the Jets who lost in Green Bay. And I'm sitting here. I'm like, Jets were looking good at this time. I was like, wow, Bears going to walk this off in shoulder. And they blocked it. I was like, wow, God really looking down upon me.
Psych.
Like this is crazy. And then the Jets just lost. And then the Jets lost.
The Jets just lose.
Yeah.
No, it's just pain. Pain everywhere. Like, it's whatever. Like, we had our chances, and then, I mean, Caleb, 2 game-winning drives, bro. They both ended like that. Hail Mary and then a fucking blocked field goal.
Y'all are really a Hail Mary and a blocked field goal away from being like, what, 6-4?
Yeah. We'd be 6-4 going in against you guys.
In the thick of that division, too.
Yeah. Now but instead, 4-6.
That's crazy, bro. Caleb's showing promise, though.
Hey.
That's good.
Offense looked way better.
That throw on 4th down fed some families. He got us a field goal range.
Roshan John. Oh, you're talking about. Never mind.
I threw it he threw it to Rome.
Yeah.
Rome's our number 1 receiver. I've come to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Love that though. Love Rome.
Hey, DJ Moore though.
DJ Moore.
My guy.
He was involved. Everybody got involved. I think the offense, it got better because this is what happens when you dumb it down. Like, that's what you have to do with some rookies. Like, you have to dumb it down. You can't just give them a crazy ass playbook and be like, okay, expect to do this and that. From a playbook that looks nothing like the one from USC. Like, he's running a completely different scheme, and I don't know, it's a more run heavy scheme, and they didn't do that at USC or in college. So I don't know. It's just Shane Waldron was just never the answer. I think Eberflus probably gonna get fired after this season.
Who's your OC now? Who's the interim?
Huh?
Who's your OC now?
It's like Trevor Brown or something Brown.
You might as well just go fucking get Lincoln Riley, bro.
He was the Panthers OC last year.
Oh, so, yeah. I remember seeing that in the chat.
So, yeah.
No.
But yeah, I think Eberflus gets fired and we end up signing Cliff Kingsbury as our head coach. And they go and find a OC from somewhere. Because God forbid the Bears ever hire a head coach that used to be a head coach. Like, Eberflus used to be the special teams fucking coordinator on the Colts. Like, and he's a fucking head coach now. Like, why are we doing that? That doesn't make any sense.
The Kingsbury thing is very interesting, especially with how it ended up with him being a head coach in Arizona.
He also coached Caleb at USC, so like you might as well just go and get him.
I'm just interested to see how, if that were to happen, how it would all play out.
I think it'd be awesome.
If fucking Riley is willing to leave USC, bring him up as an OC, not as a head coach, as an OC. I don't think he'd be a good head coach in the NFL. but I think you could pair him with Caleb again.
I don't think he's taking an OC job.
I don't think
Howard
he'd want to
take an OC
demote
job?
down there either. No, but if you could talk him into it, I don't think he'd be a good fucking NFL head coach though. But
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of jobs open. I think the Jets job's going to be open, obviously. The Jags job, I think, is eventually going to be open. I've been hearing a lot of Bill Belichick keeping his eyes on that, which would be sick. Chicago, I think Vegas is another interesting one. Dallas, I think, is another interesting one. Like, there's going to be a lot of jobs, but I think the Bears need to go, like Connor said, kind of the Kingsbury route just to build more security with that offense. Because I think that's the key. I think your defense, as long as they stay healthy, is going to be a top, 8 to 10, maybe even 5 unit fully healthy in the league.
Mhm.
Like, you're going to have a really, really good defense. It's just that offense can help them out enough. But I'm interested to see what they look like with an actual system built around Caleb and for Caleb rather than a system built that they're trying to put Caleb into.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting because I think they're going to let Keenan Allen. Or no, did we re-sign Keenan Allen? Did we already talk about this?
I don't know if y'all did.
I thought we did.
time to get on Google.
Because we had a
I
lot
see
of
Nick
money.
getting there now.
I think we did, but I don't know for how long.
I thought it was 2 years. I thought you did, but I could be wrong.
Google and stuff on the podcast.
Nope, this is his last year.
This
Oh.
is it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have to re-sign him because this is his dying contract from the Chargers.
Yeah.
So we need if they even want to re-sign him. I could see a world where we don't re-sign him, and he was kind of just like hey, we got you for the year. Like, let's see how it goes.
Ain't he in his 30s?
Yes.
He will be 33 when next season starts.
I don't know if it's worth it.
Because I feel
I
like
think
he's
it might help to not
gonna
have
ask for
somebody
a lot
else
of
you
money.
have to get the ball to.
And with Odunze literally leading our team in receiving yards right now, I think you can just go with DJ Moore and Odunze. Like, I have no problem.
And Cole Kmet.
Why would I waste money on money that I don't need to be spending? That's really what it
Exactly.
is.
You
When we have
would
young
pay
guys-
money.
Like, we have young guys that are not even getting playing time, like Tyler Scott and all them. Like, we played a lot last year and now they're not playing. So, like, you have people like that. And then if you want to go get like you go get someone stupid, like, I don't know, a Mingo
Mhm.
from the Panthers or something.
Van Jefferson. He gonna be
From
on the block.
Cowboys?
I meant Cowboys.
For a fourth round pick.
A Van Jefferson or someone, like, just go get him that can just fill in those roles. Like, and then Cole Kmet has kind of fallen off the face of the earth because Caleb doesn't look at his tight ends. But, it's
But
whatever.
there's also too many, like, you bring
many cooks
Keenan
in the
Allen
kitchen?
back. There's too many mouths to feed on that offense for a young quarterback. I'm not bringing Keenan Allen back for one, just doesn't make sense. Whatever money y'all have, strictly O-line. Everything needs to be put into the O-line.
We need to maybe spend a first round pick on an O lineman.
Yeah.
And it needs to be an interior lineman. Like, we need to get a guard. Our guards are the ones that are getting killed. Like Braxton Jones and our other tackle, like, they're fine. They're both fine on each side. But then you go inside, it's like Tevin Jenkins is getting blown up. Our center's always been bad. We just cut Nate Davis. We just signed him to a bag and then cut him.
Oh,
So I don't know. Our O-line is just so bad. Like, teams basically just rush up the gut and you're going to get a free guy every time. So I don't know. I don't know what I think, actually. I don't know what I think, actually. It's just next year. We're already on to next year. We're 4-6, bro. Like, wrap it up. Like, we're about to be 0-2 in the division. Like,
going on to our next one, because it's so tight knit right now. In your guys' opinion, who will win the NFC West?
the NFC West.
Yeah. Seahawks, Niners, Rams, Cardinals, basically all have the same record. The Cardinals are the 1 seed at the 1 in that
6-4,
division
right?
is 6-4. Everybody else is 5-5, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's the Niners. I think the Niners still come out on top of that, getting CMC back.
I think I agree.
I think the Cardinals can do enough.
Really?
I do.
I hope they do.
think
I
they
would
can
love
do
to see
enough.
them win that division.
It would be cool. I think it'd be very cool if
It's going to be close, but they played the division pretty well.
They do.
So I think down the stretch they'll be able to win enough of those games.
I
The Rams,
agree.
Maybe. Everybody but the Seahawks I can see doing it.
Yeah, the Seahawks are not. I don't know.
I don't think the Seahawks can do it.
No.
Am I crazy for thinking I damn near have more confidence in the Seahawks than the Rams at this point?
Well, I think the Seahawks are probably better than the Rams.
Yeah, for me, it's just like Stafford over Geno in the moments on for me. Like, I don't think the Seahawks roster is like the Seahawks team is much
Stafford
better
been
than the Rams.
hooping, bro. He just threw 4 tuds.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take Stafford over Geno in those tight games.
Here's my thing, and yeah, this is coming from somebody who is a big fan of Stafford and the Rams and what they're doing over there. Like, yeah, he put up 4 tuds against the Patriots. Like, but I also see him go out against good teams and struggle to put the ball in the end zone, like the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is another, like they did it against the Lions already this year in Week 1, where they could have won that game, struggled to put it in the end zone, and then they played the Dolphins in really a pivotal must-win game, in my opinion, for them. They failed to put the ball in the end zone against a good team with a good defense. Like, I personally think it's going to be Arizona, because I think the Niners, and now Bosa is looking expected from his comments after the game to possibly miss a couple weeks, because he did get hurt in that Seahawks game towards the end. Like, I just think the Niners look shaky. I think this could be like the last year for this core. Like, unless they can really flip the script and like they are talented enough to do so. But I think Arizona can do just enough to maybe get that edge. And Arizona beat them already this year. So I think they could do just enough to win that division. I think they're going to squeeze by, and I think the Niners are going to come up with like a game short in like the final weeks and miss out. Especially because like Green Bay is going to be a double-digit win team, and they're going to be like the last team to make it in almost in the NFC, and that's how deep the NFC is looking. So I think it's going to be interesting. But I would have to go Arizona right now. Like, not even looking schedule-wise.
I don't hate the Arizona pick. I wanted to say Arizona, but I was just like down the stretch. I don't know. They're so good at crumbling. I just don't know. I want them to win, though. I would love for them to win. I think the 49ers are the better team. But we'll find out.
Getting into this kind of just a general question of like, who is the most dangerous team in both conferences that could make the playoffs? This could be anybody on the fringe, anybody that's pretty much leading the division, just any team that you think is the most dangerous that could be in the playoff picture.
That's like not in it right now.
It can be in it right now, just
or that's
not
like in the hunt.
Yeah, in the hunt. Not talking really about division winners, like people that are ahead of their division. They're obviously like going to make it, but teams that are kind of like second in the division in the hunt that could be the most dangerous.
Oh man, I think with the AFC being so bad, I think the Colts could make a jump if they keep it up. Now, I'm not saying like they will, but you're at second in the division. You're only 2 games back. AR is in there. He's looking pretty good. And you got a couple like here and there games kind of going on these next couple weeks. You got like the Patriots, the Titans, like Giants, Broncos, like this kind of stuff. And the Jags, like I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow made the playoffs with maybe nine wins in the AFC. And that division sends 2.
So you would have
I
basically
think the Colts are very interesting.
Basically, your wildcard teams could be like Colts / Texans, depending on how the division goes, and it would be like Chargers and Steelers / Ravens. That'd be your wild card.
It would be like, yeah, like Chiefs get the bye. Then you're looking at like, how many teams is it? Like 7?
7. So 6
wild cards.
So Buffalo,
Chiefs, Buffalo. I would probably you go Texans because they're going to win the division. Steelers because they're going to win the division, and then did I say Chiefs already?
Yeah. So that's you got
you
your
have
4 division winners.
Yeah. So then you're leaving. Yeah, Ravens, Chargers, Colts, right there to finish it off.
Colts and Broncos will be wicked down the stretch to see which one gets that last one.
Yeah, I think the easy answer could be like the Broncos or the Colts for sure in the AFC.
I was gonna say the Dolphins.
4 and 6 Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is Connor. This was your offensive player of the year.
Hey, all I'm saying is like we'll
Tua
never
MVP.
know. We'll never know. But like Tua stays healthy the whole year, they might be undefeated. Like I don't. Tua
I mean,
Tua probably is about to win MVP. Like Tyreek offensive player of the year. Dolphins 12 wins. Like, yeah,
I mean, there's a way, like, if the Dolphins, like, last week, they started to kind of get back to where they were with Tua. They were fucking controlling the game with the run game again. Their defense has been fucking sound all year. And I mean, I know they're very big play dependent, but if they can get back to where they kind of, to start the year were, I don't see why they couldn't be scary in the playoffs if they were to get there. They have to, I mean, they've got to win some games, but
I just don't. It might just be me not really being that much of a believer in the Dolphins, but I think teams have figured Miami out. I think teams have figured out if we just keep everything in front of us, easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But like, Tua's been healthy for a couple weeks. Have yet to see Tyreek Hill have an explosive game. I just feel like when you're looking at the Dolphins play, they have no ability to make explosive plays right now. And that's their entire stick. That's their entire game plan. They don't really have receivers. Like, they have a bunch of speed guys who are going to go down the field and make stuff happen, but Waddle's been super inconsistent. Tyreek Hill's been super inconsistent. I could say Jonnu Smith has been their best weapon consistently all year, even when Tua wasn't healthy. Like, I just feel like they're too big play dependent. And I feel like even then they still get into games where, like, the Raiders game should have been a blowout, wasn't. Like, they just have a tough I think they're going to just get into close games with the Jets. Like, I think they're just so not it right now in terms of what they're looking for offensively. Because I think anybody can really compete with them. Yeah,
it's just so weird. Like, it's just the big playability, what you said. Like, Devon Achane isn't breaking off, like, 60-yard runs anymore. Like, Tua hasn't been playing. But, like, Tyler Huntley could never hit him, like, in stride and get him going. Waddle basically fell off the face of the earth when Tua went down. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're still trying to figure out, like, they're still trying to get it back, get all their stuff back. But honestly, I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Like, I think they could do it, but they just scare me so much to play like some of these teams that, like, you said could have just figured them out. And, like, obviously they're 4-6. I mean, you got to like run the table, man. Like, you got to win the rest out to even maybe sniff the playoffs.
Like, you got to think they're 4-6 now. You got to think they got to run 6 straight with 7th. So they got to go bare minimum 6. And they're looking at their schedule. I just don't. So they got the Patriots at home. I think they win that.
Yeah.
Hope so.
You go to Lambeau.
Ugh.
You got the Jets at home.
Yeah.
You got the Texans on the road. You got the Niners, who at this point, this could be must-win territory. But you get them at home. Then you go the Browns in Cleveland. They could be on upset watch for sure at this point in the year to say, fuck it. And then you got the Jets on the road to end the year. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but when you kind of really only have one more loss to try to get to 10 wins, like, I don't see them beating Green Bay and Lambeau. I don't see them really beating the Niners at that point in the year, depending on what the Niners are looking like. I just think it's a little too late at this point.
That's more what I was saying. Just
they would have needed to win that game against Buffalo.
And, like, I know we went through some of their losses when Huntley was in, and, like, if you can just get some of those back, you're contending. But you're just it's just a little too late.
Nick, who did you have?
I had the Packers.
Okay.
I think they could be really interesting because, like, obviously we don't really see them play many full, disciplined, like, really good like games with 2 halves where they play really good. Like, but they could. Like, their defense is pretty damn good. We know they have the weapons on offense. It's just like, bro, I see Romeo Doubs dropping passes, Jordan Love throwing crazy bad throws. I think if they can just clean it up by the end of the year, because I think they're definitely going to snag a wild card spot. I think if they can clean it up by the end of the year, they could be really interesting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
To scare, like, I don't even know, like Arizona or some bullshit.
Like, their teams were like, I would probably pick them against Arizona. Like, I'd probably pick them against, like, I think if they got to a point where, like, if they played the Lions just because in division, I think that could be a super wicked playoff situation.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of already said mine. I think the Bucks. I think they're going to run the table, win the division. Just because of what I've seen. I mean, losing both of your top weapons, like, and still being able to keep it in close games these past 4 weeks, and your schedule is very favorable to end the year. I think that defense is for real. I think they have a really good defensive unit. You're going to get Mike Evans back, which is going to open it up for that entire offense. They can really, really run the ball, especially with their, at this point, 3-headed backfield. Like, there are teams where, like, especially if their plan is to win the division and that's their route of getting in, making somebody come to Tampa, like, say in this situation, it would be like they would play the Packers or the Vikings in the first playoff matchup, any other team, because they would get the 4 seed. Any of that team in the top end of the North, it would be the Packers or the Vikings. So, and I think those are both winnable games for Tampa, in my opinion. Because I think the Vikings and Packers are both very good teams. They both can kind of get really messy and really sloppy at times, which can fuck them in a playoff game. I'm not saying Baker can't also be messy and sloppy at times, but I think with that defense and the ability to run the ball and Mike Evans coming back in their favorable schedule, I think they could kind of have what they did last year. I could see them winning a playoff game if they got in.
Mm-hmm.
For what they do have.
Yeah.
Kind of getting into next, this kind of goes into everything left that we do have to talk about. In terms of like the AFC, I feel like the door is opened back up for the 1 seed outside of Kansas City now. Buffalo's in the mix. Pittsburgh keeps it up there in the mix. In terms of like those 3 teams, who needs the 1 seed the most in your opinion?
From the AFC?
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs need it.
You think so?
I'm just so like, it's like I feel like it's the same thing every year. It's like we're just so low on the Chiefs. Like they barely win these games. Like, I don't know. I think that because you're looking at Buffalo, and then or maybe I could talk myself out of this. Maybe Buffalo needs it. So at the least, the Chiefs get a wild card game or get a first round matchup, just in case. Like maybe they move past them, and the only time they have to play the Chiefs is in the AFC Championship.
Right.
So like I actually I'm gonna not say the Chiefs. I'm gonna say I think the Bills need it the most, just so they don't run into the Chiefs like right away, or the Chiefs have more of a chance to get eliminated before them. Like maybe the Chiefs, because if they don't get the 1 seed, I'm gonna guess they're gonna end up with the 2 seed. So you're like, okay, they're probably gonna play that 7 seed. You're gonna play a scrappy Broncos team if they get in there
in division,
or you are going to play a scrappy like Chargers team or something. Like you could get stuck playing a division game, or you're just going to end up playing like some shitter. Like maybe the Colts get in. Like I'm not saying the Colts are shitters, but like I think the Chiefs would handle them.
I guess this kind of part going into it is like, is this loss an overreaction? I don't think it's an overreaction. But you bringing,
Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay.
You bringing up,
I don't think it's an overreaction.
The possibility of say they get the 2 seed. Looking at that, I think that would be worse if they weren't and played the Chargers in division. I think that would be worst case scenario for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I would be very
playing a team who knows you the best in the playoffs.
Yes, I think that would be worst case scenario for the Chiefs. More so the Chargers than the Broncos, just because of quarterback play. And I think the Chargers have just more weapons to utilize against the Chiefs. And the Chargers kept it close with the Chiefs their first game in Arrowhead. I just think that would be worst case scenario. I'm going to lean the Chiefs because of that. I think because in terms of the teams that they could play, I think they have a way harder time with them than a Buffalo would.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just think Josh Allen is playing like the best quarterback in the league. I think he's the MVP. Especially after that performance against the Chiefs, I just think he's going to cruise his way on the rest of the year and end up winning the MVP because, I mean, Lamar against the Steelers, I mean, they just have it. Lamar legit has everybody's number in the NFL but the Steelers and Chiefs.
Which, if Josh Allen does win MVP, that would be, like, so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's good for basketball. if Josh Allen wins MVP. Or not basketball, football. That might be good for football too.
Hold on, it might be good for both, to be honest with you.
Hey. But Josh Allen winning MVP would have a lot of aura.
I'm gonna lean with Bills needing the 1 seed more than KC needing the 1 seed more than the Bills. Because I like you said, if the Chiefs had to match up with the Chargers in the wild card division opponent, like that could get messy. Especially with how well the Chargers are coached and how they have it rolling. I mean, that would just be a tough. I think the Chargers are going to be the toughest out for anybody that wins the division in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
With how they can play defense and run the ball, you have Justin Herbert playing the best football of his career and the way they're coached. Like, I just think they're going to be a tough out for anybody. If they play Buffalo, Pitt, the Ravens, or the Chiefs, I think it's going to be a tough ass out. That's the one team I think teams could not. I'm not going to say avoid, but they'd rather not play them and play legit anybody else.
Yeah.
Because they would muck the game up against any of those teams.
See, I would say the Steelers, but I think that, I don't think it matters to us because I think we want scrappy. So we'll take a scrappy game with the Chargers if it's away. If we have, not away, but if we got to go and play the Broncos or the Chargers, we're fine with that. We're not scared. It's not in division like you're talking about with the Chiefs, and it's we know we can go. We have the best kicker in the league. Yeah. Fucking Chris Boswell, my GOAT. We're okay with those kind of okay, don't look like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your kicker missed an extra point. Let's talk about that. All right? But I'm sorry. So I think I don't think we have a problem with that. I'd probably go with the Bills as well. I don't know.
It's really just that top. It's really just comes down to situation based.
Yeah.
And I think with the two teams that could give KC problems in the division, playing them in the playoffs could be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But we can kind of get into last two things was I feel like the Bengals are wasting all-time elite years from Burrow and Jamar Chase right now. And then we can wrap it up talking about the Texans. But we can talk about
suck.
The Bengals.
Suck. The Bengals suck. They're terrible. They're the worst team in the league. What? The Bengals are literally the worst team in the league on paper. Even on paper. They suck. They're terrible. I don't know what their problem is. I'm just sick of the Bengals. Right here. Bengals suck. Still in my thing. How are you losing the Chargers? How are you going to come all the way back and then just lose like that?
McPherson missing 2 field goals changed the whole dynamic of that game.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say about the Bengals. Didn't you say the Bengals were going to make the playoffs?
I did. But last pod, since you weren't on it, I said I was completely dropping that narrative and we're fully all in on me and Nick's Chargers.
Okay.
Fully all in on that.
I think they're going to win the division.
Who?
Oh, thankfully.
All right. Okay.
Thankfully,
type shit.
Thankfully, me and Will's Saints are hooping right now.
What?
My Saints are hooping.
Your Saints. Hold on. Your Saints.
Taysom Hill, come on. We're back.
I'm on this Cowboys narrative.
So, Joe Burrow's yards, his basically just his stats the last 2 games combined against the Ravens and Chargers. 784 pass yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They've lost the last 2 games.
That's it, though. I see why they're losing. He's obviously not doing enough. It'd be kind of crazy if they had a run game.
They do. No, Chase Brown is good.
Chase Brown, respectfully, Chase Brown's been hooping.
He has been doing
that was
very
Joe
well.
Mixon.
I don't know if it's any different. Chase Brown is doing exactly what Joe Mixon did.
They were down 21-6 at half.
But the problem is that for one, they're playing from behind in a lot of these games for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
McPherson missing both field goals to go ahead. The first one complete. If he would have made the first one, they would have been able to, which they did, get a stop. That whole drive would have been so much different. They would have been able to milk more clock, because they have the lead. They would have been able to play more situational football. But now they're back in the mindset they got to go score. We have one of the best, I would say, one of the better kickers in the league. Now you throw him over there again, and he misses again. And then they got the nerve to ask Joe Burrow what he said to him after the game. Like, what do you want Joe Burrow to say?
Yeah, what do you want
him to suck? What do you want him to say? I mean, Jamar Chase over here putting 100. The Chargers have held every single team this season under 30, under 20. I think it was under 20. They've held every single team basically, other than KC. Bengals put up 30 and they lost. Because McPherson all of a sudden can't make field goals. This is the same guy who wasn't in the locker room at the Super Bowl because he wasn't sweating. He wasn't worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's watching the halftime show.
Yes,
maybe just don't go down 21-6 at half.
Oh yeah, there's definitely more to argue about the game.
Just get a touchdown in the first half.
Okay. Maybe we should have a conversation that he has the worst defense in the entire league.
Yeah, they suck. Trey Henderson can complain all he wants. He sucks. The defense sucks. Cam Taylor-Britt can say all he wants about Jaden Daniels' college offense. Cam Taylor-Britt sucks at football. He sucks.
Justin Herbert was hooping, though.
He was. Hooping. Yeah, he was. Running all over that fucking defense. Trey Henderson shaking his head. You're shit. And now you're not even going to make the playoffs. Zach Taylor needs to be fired.
You think?
Yeah. Sadly. Even if it isn't his fault. He's got to go. This September thing, this August, September, where they're starting out 2-3, 1-4 every year.
It's bullshit.
We can't do it anymore.
They can't do it anymore.
He's got to go.
I think the writing's on the wall. It's going to be a very hard thing to do because of how good he plays when he's healthy. And I'm talking about T. Higgins. I just don't think you can afford to make the necessary moves to the roster and also bring him back.
Yeah,
I just think you got to revamp. I think you need to bite the bullet because you still have to pay Jamar Chase. You have not now that price tag for Jamar Chase, it's just through the roof. You should have already locked him up and paid him because he's playing like the best receiver in football these past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So now that price tag is crazy. So now Burrow and Chase are going to have, I don't even want to know how much percentage of your cap. When your defense is still sorry, you have I'm not going to hate on Chase Brown, but the run game is lackluster. Your O-line is still shaky, as can be. You have too many holes on the roster and you haven't paid Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You're going to pay Jamar Chase and have no bread, to use. That's how it's going to be. They should have been wrapped this up because now that money Jefferson got, now Jamar Chase is looking at that. And now he's going to go into that Bengals front office and be like, well, I arguably had a better season than Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in all of football. I want $5 million more than him. Or I can just, do whatever.
Or I can just leave.
Yeah, or I can just leave. And now you have Joe Burrow with no weapons and no defense.
Oh my God, if he leaves.
But that's the current state that they're in because they didn't pay him.
Yep.
Yeah, they're fucking dumb. That's that. They suck. I don't know. They just suck.
I love to watch the Bengals lose.
God, they made that Super Bowl. Joe Burrow got hurt the next year, and then they crumbled, man. I don't know. They're just bums. They're back to being fucking poverty, man.
That defense just steadily, ever since the Super Bowl, got worse and worse and worse, and they always just thought the offense could carry them, and then Burrow got hurt, and then they still haven't paid Chase, and now everything's just coming full circle for them.
Oh, yeah, they're fucking cooked.
But I think they're wasting an elite year. But the talking points, last thing we can get to is the Texans. What are your thoughts on the Texans? Your guys' thoughts?
I don't know. I think it might just be a sophomore slump for
you think?
Stroud.
Because I know you were in the chat talking about it yesterday.
Well, okay. Half of it is because he's my fantasy quarterback.
No, right.
It's because he's actually not maybe that's also the same with the Falcons, or not the Falcons, the Dolphins. Nico Collins was out for so long, so that big playability isn't there anymore. So when Nico was out, there's no who's taking the top off for fucking 70 yards, ripping plays. So all of it, they've gone more run heavy. That's why Joe Mixon has just been eating lately. Like they literally played the Jets with just Tank Dell. Like, and you're losing so many players. Like, I get they still have Dalton Schultz, but like he's kind of fallen out of the shuffle. But I think it's just because Diggs and Nico are both hurt, so that's why he's been doing too bad. Should I have been starting Stroud? Probably not. But it is what it is. And I don't know. I think with Diggs being out and Nico coming back now, I think he'll start to get it going a little more now that he has like another safety blanket to kind of go to. But it is hard.
Is playing out of his mind.
As a team, their offense looks fine. Like, just because Joe Mixon is carrying them so much, they have such a dominant run game. But like when you go to the air, like some of these passes that Stroud's making are just so off, and like he has no time. He has one of the worst offensive lines in the league, like below the Bears maybe. And I don't know. I think it's just a sophomore slump. I think they're still going to be fine. He's just not lighting the league on fire like he was last season, which I mean, it's going to happen.
I'm in that same boat, but I'm more worried about the O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at, I think they could possibly be like on upset watch come playoff time.
Oh, okay.
Because I just think whoever they play is going to have an elite pass rush. They're going to be able to get to Stroud. Like, their offense changes because CJ Stroud having less time in the pocket means Nico Collins has less time to get down the field, negating explosive plays. So
and the first team that came to mind, imagine you get a little run with the Steelers.
Mm.
And you got Alex Highsmith on one side and you got TJ Watt coming on the other side. So, and those tackles, I'm not saying that their tackles are bums, but yeah, he already has no time to begin with. And if you're putting the defense player of the year on the other side of the ball, like, that might be barbecue chicken.
Oh, their O-line is terrible. Like, it's
so bad.
It's insane.
With how it's shaping up the rest of the way, they are looking at playing the Steelers or the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever doesn't win that division is going to be the 5 seed, and I'm assuming the Texans are just going to be the 4 seed at this point. So they're looking at a great defense with the Steelers, a great defense with the Chargers. I mean, is playing the Ravens like their best, like, because the Ravens defense is somewhat mid? Like, is that their best hope in the first round? I feel like, because the Steelers and Chargers, I think, give them a world of problems compared to the Ravens. At least the Ravens can get into a shootout.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, it unfortunately is their best chance. Otherwise, like, God, dude, that's fucked. That's tough. That's so tough. Like, you got to go up against Derrick Henry and Lamar in the playoffs first round. Oh, it's just lose, and lose.
Right.
So, I don't know. They've just looked so. I think they'll find that big playability again, though. They kind of showed it a little bit with 2 plays. One got what was it, holding? Is that what happened on the first one with the screen to Nico? It got called back or whatever, and then there was the 33-yard catch down to like the 4-yard line in the later in the game. So like it'll come back. I don't think it's gone. But their O-line scares me. Their defense has been pretty solid though. But their O-line is going to be a big issue. Oh,
yeah. But I think they're going to be all right. It's just going to be. I think people are going to be disappointed because they were the one and done last year in the playoffs, and we expected them to take a step up. They made all these roster changes, and I just think they're going to be a one and done in the playoffs again. Sadly, unless they get that Ravens matchup in a godly fucking performance out of Stroud.
Kind of thinking about like the Diggs one is going to come back to hurt them. Him being hurt because he's somebody that can just create separation right off the rip. That makes it easier on Stroud. Like the offense was always going to be carried off their weapons, not the O-line strength. And but you got to think this is CJ Stroud's second year. You have all this talent. You can bring back Stephon Diggs if you want to. Like the O-line needs to be addressed, but your defense is super, super stout.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be fine, even if they are one and done this year, just because matchups I think could really come back to kill them.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about them. I just don't think this year is their year to contend.
No.
Like like people were trying to say it was. Like they started out super hot this year, and the Diggs injury really does hurt, and then losing both your top receivers really does hurt. But I just think that O-line is going to cause so many issues when it comes down to crunch time in the playoffs that it's just not. They're not. It's not their year to contend yet. It's close. Not yet though.
Yeah.
We can hop into Week 12 predictions to wrap up the episode. Starting out with Thursday night, Steelers at Browns.
This is a game we lose, bro. This is one of the fucking games we lose.
Trap game.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna take
such
the
a
Browns.
fucking
Big,
trap game.
big letdown spot here.
That's what I'm saying. It's the Browns.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns.
It's the Browns.
I'm
We're
taking the
favored
Steelers.
away. We're favored away. This is the exact kind of game Tomlin goes in and loses, bro. Like,
Jameis is going to throw for 400 yards, but 3 picks, and you guys are going to win by a field goal
Yep.
on Thursday night.
it's the Browns.
Titans at
Unfortunately.
Texans.
Texans.
Give me the Texans.
Texans, yeah.
Vikings at Bears.
Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
I'm going to go Vikings.
Ooh.
Like the messiest game possible in Chicago.
What? I might go Bears.
A nasty, stinky soldier game
Yeah,
field.
Give me
yes.
Bears.
Like another game where you guys just don't score a touchdown.
I ain't going to say that messy, but it's going to be
Give me
messy.
Bears.
That was painful.
Cowboys at Commanders.
Commanders by a million.
Commanders.
Commanders. Patriots at Dolphins.
Oh,
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Chiefs at Panthers.
Jesus.
Chiefs.
How'd they
Chiefs,
get the Panthers?
I don't
Hell?
know.
Panther or Chiefs. Oh my god.
Bucks at Giants.
Bucks.
Lions at Colts.
Lions.
Lions.
Damn.
Broncos at Raiders.
Broncos.
Let's go, baby.
Broncos.
Let's ride.
Cardinals at Seahawks.
Cardinals.
I'm going the Seahawks.
Respect.
It's
I
gonna
like
be a
that,
gritty.
though.
This is gonna be a gritty game. 3:00 game.
I think that might be the best game on the slate you've said so far. We have to wait till fucking Cardinals and Seahawks.
Niners at Packers.
Oh,
Take the Packers.
The Packers.
Yep.
give me the Niners. I think Jordan Love's gonna throw the game away.
Sunday night, Eagles at Rams.
Eagles. Oh,
Rams up against it. Need the win. Give me the Rams.
give me the Rams. Actually, I like that.
Eagles
I like
won
the,
6 in a
I
row.
like the Rams. It's so
Due for a
letdown.
loss.
Yep.
Give me the Rams.
Give me the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Monday
Love
night, Ravens at Chargers.
Oh. Give me the
My Chargers. Give me them.
Nick.
Huge win if that happens.
That'd be
We going 8-3. We going 8-3 this week, Nick.
8-3. Chiefs lose to the Panthers. All of a sudden,
Hey
we're
now,
one.
hey now.
All right, my bad.
Hey now.
My bad.
We're talking a little crazy here. Bryce Young legacy game, 450 yards to the air, 4 touchdowns. Hold on.
I take
Now
it
we're
back.
talking.
I'm taking the Chargers though, for real.
Like, oh, this is such a like the Ravens need this win though.
Yeah.
Because they're what, 7-4?
Yeah.
They need this. I gotta go with the Ravens. They like
I'm
Yeah.
going with the Chargers to go 8-3.
for the narrative I would go with the Chargers, but the Ravens just need this win so bad that I think they'll pull it out.
I think with the way Herbert's playing against that defense of the Ravens, I think
fair.
they have a day. I think they have a
That's
day,
fair.
and I think they beat the Ravens. And I think
That's
that defense is built to stop the run. I think they do it. But to wrap up the episode, getting into power rankings going into Week 12. Week 11 rankings was KC at 1, Lions at 2, Ravens at 3, Bills at 4, Eagles at 5, Steelers at 6, Commanders at 7, Arizona at 8, Vikings at 9, Green Bay at 10. Week 12 rankings, Detroit at 1, Buffalo at 2, KC at 3, Eagles at 4, Steelers at 5, Vikings at 6, Arizona at 7, Ravens at 8, Chargers at 9, Broncos at 10. Going into
Broncos.
Week 12. First week of the season, KC isn't 1.
Yeah. Broncos
They showed us they could lose. They did it.
Yep.
They
We
did it. We
We
waited.
were always saying it was KC until it wasn't, and now it's not.
Yep.
We've been
Now
waiting
it's
for
not.
this fucking moment all
Now
year,
it's not.
dude. All fucking year.
It's simply not KC anymore.
Oh shit.
Well, you guys want to wrap it up there?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Obviously, tune in to future episodes.
You're